la chancelière, j'ai l'honneur de vous présenter Madame Frances Northcutt, qui s'est distinguée par son travail d'ingénieur et son militantisme pour les droits des femmes. Miss Northcutt majored in math at the University of Texas in the early 1960s. At the time, she says, women existed in a sea of sexism. If women went to college at all, she recalls, they were expected to become executive secretaries, nurses, or teachers. Not so for Miss Northcutt. She was first hired as a computress at NASA contractor TRW. She was quickly promoted, becoming NASA's first female engineer in mission control. Starting with the Apollo 8 mission, the first to orbit the moon, she became a return-to-Earth specialist. She continued through Apollo 11, the first mission to land on the moon, and was part of the team that guided the Apollo 13 astronauts home after their spacecraft suffered a near-catastrophic explosion. As one of few women working in engineering, Miss Northcutt became increasingly involved in the nascent women's liberation movement. As a board member for the National Organization for Women, she gave speeches and helped stage demonstrations, organize strikes, and write press releases. In 1974, she became the City of Houston's first women's advocate. She helped pass legislation that helped women become police officers and firefighters, and led an equal pay study of the entire Houston municipal payroll. Still wanting to do more, she transitioned to a law career where she emphasized civil rights. Today, Ms. Northcutt provides legal advice to pregnant teenagers and helps educate young voters and immigrant women on the importance of participating in the political process. Madame la Chancelière, au nom du Conseil d'administration et du Sénat de l'Université, j'ai le privilège et l'honneur de vous présenter Madame Frances Northcutt afin que vous lui décerniez un doctorat et sciences honoris causa.
I now ask Dr. Northcutt to give her address.
Madame Chancellor, Mr. President and Vice Chancellor, honored platform guests, graduating class, friends and family, bonjour mes amis. About 4 years ago, I got a voice message on my phone that was very strange, puzzling. It was a call from a woman who said she was with the Brazilian consulate in Houston and that she had an important message for me. Well, I've never been to Brazil, not that I don't want to go, and I don't know anyone in Brazil. I didn't know anyone in Houston from Brazil. And I went, what is this? I thought, you know, there's a lot of scams these days. What is this? So I looked up the Brazilian consulate, and indeed the phone number they wanted me to call was the Brazilian consulate. So I went, okay, I'll see what this is. And the important message was even more puzzling. She told me that there was a Brazilian national named Rosalie Lopez who worked at the JPL, that's the Jet Propulsion Lab in California, which does those incredible outer space things, you know, putting helicopters on Mars, things like that, that she wanted to talk to me. Well, I didn't know Rosalie Lopez or who she was. I'd never been to JPL, not that I didn't want to go. So I was even more mystified at that point. But I picked up the phone and I called Rosalie Lopez after I looked her up on Wikipedia. Wow. She's a planetary scientist. She holds the world's record for finding active volcanoes. And you know where most of them are? They're on places like Io and the moons of Jupiter, Saturn, so forth. I'm like, what is this extraordinary woman wanting to talk to me about? So I called her, and that was even more surprising. She told me that when she was 13 years old, she saw a picture of me and an article in a newspaper about the space program. It was around the time of Apollo 13. And that was the reason that she decided to go into planetary science. Think about that. Just think about that. One image of a woman doing a non-stereotypical job changed her direction, her trajectory in her life. Just one image. It made me realize what a huge impact the smallest kind of thing that you do can have on other people. What is a role model? What is an inspiration? Who gets to be a role model? Who gets to be an inspiration? Well, I'll tell you the answer to that. That's every one of you. Every one of you has the latent superpower of being a role model and an inspiration to other people. You just have to use it, or you lose it. You don't have to have millions of followers on the internet. You don't have to have articles written about you in the newspaper. You just have to get out of your lab or your office or your home and your comfort zone and go out and engage. And especially if you will engage with young people. Be willing to go to that high school or middle school or, wherever, and talk to people and let them see you. And you never know, that kid that sees you might be the next Rosalie Lopez. You might very well inspire that. And whether you know it or not, that still may happen. You may not be fortunate enough to have the Brazilian consulate call you, but still, you may have made that kind of life change for someone. Go to your city council and talk about the potholes on your street or the need for a better park. Somebody may see you on Zoom and as a result, pick up the phone and call and themselves take part in whatever it is, the action you've taken. Don't worry that you're not a great speaker. If your city council or state legislature is like mine, just seeing those people in action will build your self-esteem and give you confidence. So go vote, okay? And take a kid with you when you go vote. If you don't have any kids of your own, borrow one. I don't mean steal or kidnap. But, you know, take the grandchild, take the niece, take the nephew, whatever, take them with you to vote. Let them see that civic engagement goes on. Because all of the studies indicate that one of the biggest predictors of somebody becoming a voter is that they went with their mom or their dad or an elder to vote. How much work is that? Not much at all. Very small things at the right time, if you're in space, we call them mid-course corrections. A very small maneuver can totally change the direction of that vehicle in terms of where it ends up. And people's lives are much like that. Some of you sitting there probably had a small input, okay, when you were 10 or 12 or 2 or 6. And that's why you're here. You may not even remember it. You can be that mid-course correction for who knows how many people. And don't forget to Google Rosalie Lopez, okay? It's Rosalie with a Y and Lopez, E-S, okay? She's now the head of planetary sciences at JPL and really taking us beyond the solar system. I want to thank you for this honorary degree, something I never expected to have. My brother had to work for his PhD. And most of all, for the pleasure of your company. Merci beaucoup, mes amis. Ad Astra, and go Stingers.
Wow, thank you, Poppy. Talking about role model. You're my idol now. Thank you so much.